everyone, welcome back to another episode of Shrey FC. I'm so happy to be back with you all, and I'm today joined by a very special guest in Hiren Bhai. तो हिरेन भाई आप कैसे हैं?
बढ़िया बढ़िया। थैंक यू श्रेय भाई फॉर इनवाइटिंग मी। एंड आप कैसे हैं वो भी बता दिए।
हिरेन भाई मैं बहुत बहुत अच्छा हूँ एंड बहुत अच्छा लगा आपको आज फिर से इनवाइट करके। एंड यहीं
श्योर।
पे एक पहला क्वेश्चन था तो मुझे लग रहा है यहीं से टॉपिक शुरू कर देते। व्हाट्स रॉन्ग विद यूनाइटेड? द लीस्ट एक्सपेक्टेड अ क्लब साइन डूइंग दैट, रैबियर्ड अनदर पोग्बा। तो यहीं से हम कैश मेरे को लगता है पहले हम शुरुआत कर देते हैं यूनाइटेड से ही। पर आई थिंक यूनाइटेड से भी पहले हम जाते हैं प्रीमियर लीग गेम वीक रिजल्ट्स पे थोड़ा सा। एंड यूनाइटेड के बारे में स्टार्ट करते हुए मैं आपके लिए लोग प्रेजेंटेशन आज हम बहुत सारे टॉपिक डिस्कस करने वाले हैं। तो सबसे पहले आज हम जाने वाले हैं यूनाइटेड पे। तो यहीं पे अगर हम रिजल्ट देखेंगे तो यूनाइटेड अपना पहला गेम हारी ब्राइटन के खिलाफ, वो भी अपने
ब्राइटन से।
घर पे, ओल्ड ट्रैफर्ड पे। तो
ओल्ड
हिरेन भाई
ट्रैफर्ड।
मेरे को पता था कि आप लाइव वॉच अलॉन्ग कर रहे थे इस मैच के बारे में, तो आपने पूरा मैच देखा है। हिरेन भाई आप बताइए क्या प्रॉब्लम थी यूनाइटेड की, एग्जैक्टली हो क्या रहा है जो इतना स्ट्रगल कर रहे हैं? प्री सीजन में तो सब बोल रहे थे यार क्या खेल रही है यूनाइटेड, यार यूनाइटेड तो इस बार फॉर्म में है, टॉप 4 आने वाली है, रैशफोर्ड कमाल करेगा, मार्शियल कमाल करेगा। ये क्या हो गया हिरेन भाई, प्लीज बताइए।
I think Sreba, it's same problem as previous season, or you can say from a long time. The problem is the same, I think. क्योंकि मैंने आज वो इसके पहले जो उसका मैनेजर था, आई थिंक कौन थे इसके आगे उसका,
रैगनिक रैगनिक
रेगनिक रेगनिक का मैं अभी देख रहा था, वो कोई वीडियो आया था। उसने जो बोला था मतलब मुझे अभी आई कोरिलेट विथ इट, बिकॉज उस वो बोल रहा था कि जब तक आप देखे सिटी और लिवरपूल, तो उसने सिटी लिवरपूल ने 2015 के बाद और सिटी ने 2016 के बाद जो चेंज किया है, वो क्या चेंज किया है। तो आई थिंक दे चेंज देयर होल टीम। So United, I think needed that to do that, because Ragnick ने भी वही बोला था कि you need to change 8 to 10 players to get result what they want to achieve in Premier League in like say in 2 to 3 years. Because आप देखिए अगर सिटी की लाइनअप 2016 से अब तक में सिर्फ केविन डी ब्रुयने ही है, बाकी सब उसने प्लेइंग स्टाइल भी चेंज किया है, पूरा स्क्वाड को भी चेंज किया है। और अगर आप लिवरपूल की साइड देखें तो उसमें सिर्फ वो जेम्स मिलनर है अभी, बाकी सारे प्लेयर्स क्लोप ने 2016 के बाद लाया है। तो आपका प्रॉब्लम है वो मतलब प्लेइंग स्टाइल में तो प्रॉब्लम दिख ही रहा है, लेकिन आई थिंक द प्लेयर्स आर नॉट दैट लेवल दैट यूनाइटेड इज रिक्वायर। आई थिंक आप इससे बेहतर समझ पाएंगे जैसे बार्सिलोना के साथ हुआ था, जो 2015 में जब चैंपियंस लीग जीती, बाद में जब जो बारसा ने प्लेयर लाए हैं कोई कोई प्लेयर, जैसे वो आंद्रे गोमेस हो गया था, फिर टगलेफाऊ हो गया था, बीच बीच में मतलब मालकॉम को लेके आए थे। तो आई थिंक उसी तरह के प्लेयर जो मतलब एक बिलो एवरेज से मतलब थोड़े से ऊपर है, लेकिन जो एक हाईएस्ट लेवल के क्लब को रिक्वायर होता है, वो मतलब उस टाइप के प्लेयर यूनाइटेड को लाने चाहिए। और आज ही वो न्यूज आ रही है कि वो जो फुटबॉल फ्री क्रैक्स भाई का क्वेश्चन था कि रेबियट और पेरेडेस की भी बात चल रही है
आई थिंक
पीएसजी से।
यही यही मुझे सरप्राइज कर रहा है। सबसे बड़ी बात यहाँ पे हिरेन भाई की दे आर आल्सो लिंक विद अर्नाटोविच। सो यूनाइटेड आर लिंक विद अर्नाटोविच, दे आर लिंक विद रैबियट। एंड another question here, and just coming on that with these type of results and the players they're about to sign, do you think Ronaldo will stay? The problem,
नो नो।
football creeks, sir, I will say is it's not about Ronaldo staying. The problem is who is available to take Ronaldo. His wages of 500k. Bayern Munich have already extended the contract of Gnabry and are not going up for Ronaldo. Chelsea are also not going up for Ronaldo because Tuchel stopped Chelsea board to go after Ronaldo. It's very clear that Todd Bowley, the Chelsea owner, wanted Ronaldo because of the marketing reasons, but Thomas Tuchel, as of now, has stopped it to happen. So, to be honest, which club in the world want to sign Ronaldo? Not Real, not Barca, not Bayern, not Chelsea, not Manchester City, not Liverpool, the top clubs in the world, not even Arsenal. And TCSB भाई here, JNT सूरज भाई जो भी है, thank you so much भाई ज्वाइन करने के लिए। It's an absolute pleasure guys, और guys प्लीज जाइए TCSB
थैंक
को
यू
जरूर
जयंत भाई।
सब्सक्राइब कीजिए। One of the best guys है जो मेरे को पता है। It's an absolute pleasure to talk with them. Go there and subscribe to TCSB. And बहुत बढ़िया सर, एंड इट्स वेरी गुड टू सी यू एज वेल सर। तो यहीं पे मैं ये बात कर रहा था हिरेन भाई की यूनाइटेड का द प्रॉब्लम दैट आई एम फाइंडिंग विद देम is at the moment the preseason hype that was coming with them a lot. I think people got swayed away. Chelsea का जैसे Hiren Bhai, we lost to Arsenal 4-0, so everybody started saying Chelsea will have a bad season. Chelsea are not ready. I think people overhype United. Ten Hag, for me, I have a lot of sympathy for. Like in this photo, I really admire him as a coach. I really, really admire him as a coach, and he's a fantastic coach. Even in the match I watched a bit, I think I saw some patterns from Ten Hag which I did not see in the previous management. But it will take time to implement. I also want to get back on this Ralph Ragnick. I think Ralph Ragnick, everybody was criticizing. I remember a lot of United fans on the Twitter timeline. I remember if Hiren Bhai was right on the Twitter timeline were criticizing Ralph Ragnick that he's too open, he's not managing the players in the right way, he's so much open in the press, and that's not good to see. He's saying things that he should not say. You should improve the players. But now what Ragnick was saying was right, and there was a tweet I could not find it. Otherwise, I would have put it here. That person said it perfectly well. United last year and this year had mostly same squad, bar Ericsson and Lisandro Martinez. When you have the same players from the nine players who were last season, the problem is not going to be eradicated. It's still early doors. It's still first game of the season. Ten Hag is first game. It will do take time. But the goals I saw were the same old United. Rashford missing sitters. Bruno Fernandes not showing the same goal instinct. And I think that's a massive concern here. And Napoli, I think Napoli से तो बढ़िया यूनाइटेड ही रह ले फुटबॉल क्रिक से राय से Napoli में जाके ये तो है नहीं ट्रॉफी जीतने वाली है Napoli. What's the benefit of going to Napoli? I think it's better to stay United. यूरोपा लीग जितवा दे लेजेंड की तरह जाए. एंड ये पे मैं आपके भी ओपिनियन लूंगा फुटबॉल क्रिक से क्रिस्टियानो रोनाल्डो पे ना. आप तो बार्सिलोना फैन है तो यू ऑलरेडी हैव सम फाइट विद रोनाल्डो for the days he gives you as a Barcelona fan and overall the rivalry of Real and Barca. So overall, sir, Hiren Bhai, I want to know your opinion on Cristiano Ronaldo. That where do you see Cristiano Ronaldo ending up, and do you see him leaving United, or if United keep him, is he going to cause problem in the dressing room?
Guys, one thing I want to clear: I am a Barcelona fan, but I don't hate Ronaldo. So it's I mean I admire him also, like Messi. So there is a no that, but I think probably Ronaldo will leave eventually, because he can't be in this environment. He can't be with this type of players who don't say so mentality or eager to play for a badge of a United like a club. So I think he has to leave, because the club is great, everything is great, but with this type of player, they Ronaldo can't be seen. So I think he has to leave. एंड बट वहाँ पे प्रॉब्लम एक है कि उसको अभी लेने वाला मतलब वैसे तो देखे तो है, लेकिन ज़्यादा मतलब फिजिबल ऑप्शन अभी दिख नहीं रहा है कोई को जो रोनाल्डो की नीड और उसका जो एम्बिशन है उसके साथ मैचअप कर सके. तो उस तरह का क्लब कोई अभी मार्केट में ज़्यादा बचा नहीं है, क्योंकि सबने अपनी साइनिंग और अपना कर लिया है. तो आई थिंक अभी ज़्यादा बेटर यही होगा कि एक सीजन रुक जाए और यूनाइटेड को यूरोपा लीग जिताने की फुल कोशिश करें और यूनाइटेड को चैंपियंस लीग में लाए नेक्स्ट सीजन. तो एक बेहतर स्टोरी होगी मेरे हिसाब से. तो लेकिन यूनाइटेड को अभी एक क्विकली करना होगा ट्रांसफर मार्केट में, बिकॉज यू नीड ए प्लेयर. इस
हिरेन भाई,
बंदे
इसी
से
में आप
तो
एक
नहीं होगा
क्वेश्चन आता
यार.
हूँ, थोड़ा तोड़ मरोड़ के मैं आपसे एक क्वेश्चन पूछता हूँ. अगर आप यूनाइटेड फैन हो, 2 मिनट के लिए ज्यूम कर लो कि अगर आप यूनाइटेड फैन हो या आप यूनाइटेड बोर्ड के मेंबर हो, क्या आप प्रेफर करोगे रोनाल्डो को किसी तरीके से टीम से निकाल के एंथनी को साइन करके, जितना भी पैसा लगता है एंथनी जैसे प्लेयर को लाके, क्या आपको लगता है एक फॉल्स नाइन जैसा प्लेयर एंथनी लाके ज्यादा इंपैक्ट करेगा, या आपको लगता है कि जिस प्लेयर ने लास्ट सीजन 15 गोल मारे है उसको आप निकाल दोगे तो थोड़ी सी प्रॉब्लम हो जाएगी?
नहीं 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 नहीं, रोनाल्डो नहीं प्रॉब्लम है. प्रॉब्लम रोनाल्डो नहीं है. प्रॉब्लम आपकी बैक लाइन और आपकी मिडफील्ड में है, जिसको आप सोल्व नहीं कर रहे हैं. और आप किधर किसी और जगह पे यू हैव ट्राइंग टू सोल्व द प्रॉब्लम, तो फिर तो कोई फिक्स होगा ही नहीं मेरे हिसाब से. तो आप from starting this season everyone knows, even starting जो fan who are starting watching Manchester United, who knows
I think
that
मुझे लग रहा है हिरेन भाई has
United
hanged a bit.
United need a midfielder, defensive midfielder. But still there about 20 days left for a transfer window, I think 20 to 25 days, but still they don't have a defensive midfielder which they require from a starting of this season. So I think they don't able to address the real problem, and they are trying to solve other problems. So I think इवेंचुअली जब तक वो मेन जो प्रॉब्लम है उसको नहीं सोल्व करते, मतलब जो डिफेंस लाइन में जो लुक्सो खेला है यार, क्या वो ऐसा ऐसे आप क्लियर देख सकते हैं कि जब से वो नया साइनिंग किया है, उसका नाम क्या है मेरे हिसाब से?
लिसांड्रो
लेफ्ट,
मार्टिनेज।
नहीं नहीं, लेफ्ट लेफ्ट बैक में।
लेफ्ट बैक में मलाशियो।
हाँ, मलेशिया। मलेशिया के आते ही देखे गेम में इम्पैक्ट देखने को मिला था। तो ये
बट
मतलब
वही है
आपके जो
हिरेन
बैक।
भाई, मुझे वही समझ नहीं आई कि लूक शॉ was a player at एक time. Luke Shaw was really contending for the England spot. People were calling him one of the best left back for England. He was above Chilwell. He was above anything. And at the Euros, he and Maguire were one of the best players. For me, I understand some United fans who were trying to say that our players are not that bad. Our players just need a bit more manager who can play with them, a manager that can guide them, a manager that can improve them, a manager that can coach them. Then Ralph Ragnick came. People said Ralph Ragnick is not a good coach. Ralph Ragnick has not a good coaching experience. Fair enough. Now, I'm not making any assessment of one match. It's a one match under a typical style of managing, because Ten Hag philosophy takes time to implement. So I'm not making a very quick judgment on United, and I don't want to look like an idiot. But at the moment, but the thing is that at the moment, at least what I saw is the same Maguire, is the same Shaw. And for me, if I'm a fan, I will never be concerned with players' performances. I will be concerned with mentality, and the mentality in the dressing room is not right. Is still divided. Is still a dressing room where some people hate Ronaldo, some people like Ronaldo, and for me, it's a massive concern. And ending on Manchester United today and taking some questions, I think Chelsea is an option that Football Creeks is saying, and I do agree that Chelsea is a team that will try to sell Ronaldo. But for me, it will only be a deadline day move. And at the moment, Thomas Tuchel does not want Cristiano Ronaldo. He does not want the baggage he carries, and he will rather go for a false nine. And that is where Chelsea have been linked with Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, Wilfred Zaha. Chelsea have been linked with uh, Memphis Depay. That are type of players Chelsea are getting linked with, and Chelsea are not going for him. A general question: did Ronaldo mistake not signing City? मैं एक ही क्वेश्चन बोलूंगा, इसके बाद मैं हिरेन भाई पे आऊंगा बिफोर वी एंड द रोनाल्डो टॉपिक. मेरे को यही लगता है फुटबॉल क्रिक से कि जो रूमर्स होते हैं ना, वो कहीं ना कहीं क्रिएट भी ऐसे करे जाता है आपको दिखाने के लिए. इन माय ओपिनियन, सिटी वर नॉट इंटरेस्टेड इन रोनाल्डो. पता नहीं क्यों. आई डोंट थिंक पेप गार्डियोला वांटेड रोनाल्डो. वो मीडिया में एक एजेंसी ने प्रेशर क्रिएट करा, सो दैट जॉर्जे मेंडेस डिड दैट टू गेट सम साइनिंग्स फॉर हिम. आई थिंक पीपल डोंट अंडरस्टैंड दैट एजेंट्स आर अ बिग पार्ट ऑफ द मार्केट टुडे. ये 10 साल पहले नहीं है कि 10 साल हम वी वर सिटिंग इन फ्रंट ऑफ अ टीवी, वी वर वाचिंग स्काई स्पोर्ट्स, एंड इन इंडिया वी वर वाचिंग ESPN and seeing what signings are made and then noting down in a notebook. It's not the case nowadays. Agents play a big part, and for me, Jorge Mendes used Manchester City to get the United move, and it was done so that he can get the faith of United fans. Wow, Ronaldo rejected City, my legend. He is my legend. I think that is why it was done. And Luke Shaw, he was so bad at preseason, but still United Shaw starting. I don't understand. I think it has to do with dressing room politics, in my opinion. And going to Hiren Bhai on this one before we go to another topic. Hiren Bhai, do you see it was a big mistake? And overall, here Football Creeks is saying that he was not
Uh,
interested. Mendes was doing just to a United move. So on
yes,
this
yes.
question only, Hiren Bhai, do you think City were trying for him, or it was just a rumor in the market?
No, no, it's a rumor. I completely agree with your statement. That's it's create a hype and a rumor so he can sign be for Manchester United. एंड वो अगर आप दूसरा साइड भी देखें तो अगर वो सिटी में चला भी जाता तो फिर जो मीडिया और फैंस का जो बैकलेस आता कि तुमने मैनचेस्टर यूनाइटेड के मतलब जो डर्बी राइवल है उसके साथ ही चले गए. जो जैसे इस तरह अभी आ रहा है कि चेल्सी में जाएगा तो मैनचेस्टर यूनाइटेड काफी खफा हो गए, तो उसी तरह उस लास्ट ईयर भी ऐसा ही होता कि अगर रोनाल्डो सिटी में चला जाता तो फिर तो मतलब जो फैंस का और मीडिया का और जो बैकलेस आता वो मतलब अनबियरेबल होता. तो आई थिंक उसके ब्रांड को भी एक थोड़ा सा वो हिट लगता. तो आई थिंक रोनाल्डो एज अ ब्रांड भी थोड़ा सा वहाँ पे लॉस होता. तो आई थिंक इट्स ओनली अ रूमर एंड हाइप सो ही कैन बी प्ले फॉर यूनाइटेड अगेन.
Fantastically said. बहुत अच्छा कहा. I absolutely agreed with you, sir. And I think on that note, we end the Manchester United topic today. And now I think it's time to move on to some transfer rumors before I go on the Premier League discussion. And I think it's time to discuss on the De Jong to Chelsea rumor that's just come right now, and showing you the slice, people. And this is a De Jong rumor that's just come today, taking you there on the De Jong rumor. And it's an exclusive by a very reliable David Ornstein. Chelsea have a firm interest, and while it is understood they are yet to submit a formal bid, sources indicate they are prepared to fund the transfer fee and cover the salary depth should De Jong pick a switch to Stamford Bridge. Now, there was another report today on Frankie De Jong that Barcelona are trying to do some case on him. They're trying to say that the previous management made the mistake of signing him when the finances weren't right. So, in the end, it's not the mistake of the current ownership, and they are criminalizing the case. where Frankie de Jong is trying to leave the club and fighting Barca for the deferred wages. Xavi at the moment has been very clear that he has no problem if de Jong leaves, but he has no problem if he stays. And Laporta has been saying the same thing in the media as well. So going on to an experience, a very experienced Barcelona fan that I've been joined today, and that is Hiren Bhai. So Hiren Bhai, this has been an absolute ripper of a transfer window, and it's already, I can see, August 8th today, 8th August, and this was started by June, where United were linked. Drag where it's just getting dragged out of limits for me. So Barcelona also getting a bit of trouble here, Hiren Bhai, in terms of registering players. A bit of tax in payment has to be also made, and they need to at least raise 150 million. So Hiren Bhai, do you see Barcelona selling him, and do you see Chelsea as a big option because you're on the verge of signing Marcus Alonso as well?
First of all, Shreva, if I get as a Barca fan, I get a big relief if I as soon as 31st August will come, because finally we had to know that what happened to with Frankie De Jong. And I think with Chelsea, he is a matlab, very completely fit in Chelsea's environment. And I think Frankie De Jong's main demand is to play in Champions League, to remain in Champions League. He is refusing to join Manchester United move because he knows that Manchester United needed 2 to 3 years to reach a competitive level. So I think he can't be another waste of 2 to 3 years of his career to another club to rebuild, because he already done it Barca. दो तीन सीजन से वो ऑलरेडी बारसा में है, और बारसा भी एक रिबिल्ड फेज में था। तो फिर से वो अगर दूसरे रिबिल्ड क्लब में जाएगा तो फिर से उसके करियर का जो मतलब स्पान है और उसमें जो उसको सक्सेस और अचीवमेंट करने हैं वो नहीं कर पाएगा। तो आई थिंक चेल्सी का मूव मुझे ज़्यादा वो फिजिबल भी लगता है। आई थिंक इवेंचुअली चेल्सी ही होगा मोस्ट प्रोबेबली, अगर टर्न कुछ और बातें नहीं होती। लेकिन आई थिंक इस पे मतलब अभी जितनी भी रिपोर्ट आए, जितने भी रिलायबल सोर्सेज है, मैं नहीं बोल रहा कि वो झूठ बोल रहे हैं, लेकिन अगर इस ट्रांसफर पर्टिकुलरली फ्रैंकी डी जॉन्ग के ट्रांसफर की हम बात करें तो इसका फैसला जब फाइनल क्लब की ओर से आएगा तभी होगा कि वो रुकेगा या जाएगा। जैसे मेसी का सागा था कि मेसी में सारे जो क्रेडिबल जर्नलिस्ट है वो बोल रहे थे कि मेसी रुक रहा है, मेसी साइन कर रहा है,
Hmm.
लेकिन जो लास्ट डे पे हुआ वो किसी को भी नहीं पता था, फेब्रिजियो को भी नहीं पता था कि साइन ही नहीं कर सकते, बारसा के पास उतना वो ही नहीं है। तो इस ट्रांसफर में भी ऐसा ही होगा कि चाहे जितना भी रिलायबल सोर्सेज बोले कि रुक रहा है, जा रहा है, जा रहा है, जा रहा है, रुक रहा है, लेकिन जब तक वो फाइनल नहीं आएगा 31 अगस्त को, तब तक कोई भी बातें करना मतलब कौन से क्लब में जा रहा है वो सब मतलब एक रूमर एज अ रूमर ही हम डिस्कस कर सकते हैं, क्योंकि वहां से हम वो ज्यादा कोई उसका निष्कर्ष नहीं निकाल सकते। तो इवेंचुअली तो ये जल्दी खत्म हो तो एज अ बारसा फैन तो मैं वही करता हूँ एक्सपेक्ट, क्योंकि इससे
Yeah.
अब थक चुके हैं, टाइड ऑफ इट।
I think absolutely said, very well said, Hirin Bhai, and that's the thing that I'm saying. That I want this transfer window to end because right now the analysis right now making on Chelsea and United and everyone is difficult. But I think I will say one thing: if United fail to sign De Jong, I think there's going to be a big ruckus in the whole fan base of United. I think if they miss out on signing Frankie De Jong, I think it's going to be a big problem because they have been linked with this place for 2 months. For me, earlier I was very patient, Hirin Bhai. I thought, okay, transfer deal do take time. We have to be a bit more sympathetic towards club. But now he was a preferred target, and now if you're not able to sign him, you wasted 2 months. You did not even look for a backup. I think it's an absolute disgrace if United missed out on Frankie De Jong. And I don't know why United are fighting over peanuts of 10 million. It's a peanuts for United. Glazers are taking money out of the club. Fans are still not waking up and still buying the merchandise and everything. And Glazers are doing everything they can to take the soul out of this club. And for me, even as a rival, I'm not enjoying that. And I think fans are not very aware, the Manchester United fans, and they are for me allowing the club to be taken away from them. And
वन
Glazers have
वन
the money. I can't understand the Hiren Bhai. How can a club like United cannot go on a spending spree of 200 million? Why they have to be worried about FFP? They earn the
मैं
biggest money. They are the biggest commercial club in the world. Highest shirt sales. Yes, Hiren Bhai.
मैं एक इसमें एक बात ऐड करना चाहता हूँ कि आज जो मैंने एक लापोर्टा का स्टेटमेंट पढ़ा है, उसने मतलब काफ़ी अच्छी बात बोली है कि कोई भी क्लब, आप किसी भी क्लब को देख ले, तो अगर आप रीबिल्ड में ही रह जाओगे तो आप बड़े क्लब नहीं हो सकते। मतलब उसने ऐसा बोला है कि फुटबॉल में रीबिल्ड का फेज नहीं आता है, या इधर आप अचीव करते हैं या फिर आप लूज करते हैं। अगर आप 5 या 10 साल में अगर आप वो जो आपकी मतलब पिछली जो हिस्ट्री कैसी भी रही हो, अगर करंटली आप देखें तो मैं मेरे अराउंड देख रहा हूँ अभी, तो काफ़ी मेरे कजिन्स है और वो सबको देख रहा हूँ, तो वो मतलब मैनचेस्टर सिटी की ओर ज़्यादा अट्रैक्ट हो रहे हैं। तो अगर आप इसी तरह से आप ऐसे ही करते रहोगे, पिछले अगर ऐसे 9-10 साल तो ऑलरेडी निकल चुके हैं सर एलेक्स के जाने के बाद, तो अगर ऐसे ही और 5-6 साल निकल जाएंगे तो एक जो बीच में एक जो जनरेशन पूरी आती है फुटबॉल फैंस की, तो वो मतलब जैसे अभी ज़्यादा सिटी की ओर इंक्लाइंड है, तो वो आप एज ए धीरे धीरे आपको वो भी पता चलेगा कि आप एक फैन बेस भी लूज कर रहे हो। अभी तो आपके पास ऑलरेडी है फैन बेस, तो आपको वो पता नहीं चल रहा है, लेकिन आप
हम्म।
जैसे जैसे आगे बढ़ेंगे तो आपको वो भी पता चलेगा कि आपने कितना वो भी लॉस किया है। तो मतलब मेरे हिसाब से तो इस मार्केट विंडो में जो यूनाइटेड ने मिस किया है वो है ऑल आउट अटैक, मतलब उसको पूरा ही ऑल आउट अटैक जाना चाहिए था इस विंडो में। और ये जो उसके
आई थिंक,
पास वो
और हिरेन भाई मैं
पैसे की
यही
तो
कहूंगा,
कमी नहीं है।
Remember, मैं वही कहूंगा, the point that you have made right now is one of the best point I think people are not realizing. Football is not infinite. The success that you have had won't be infinite. Manchester United are not understanding that right now. Yes, they're in a position because for me, in my time, I've seen them succeed. I think Hiren Bhai in his time has seen them succeed. I think a lot of people in the chat might have seen United succeed. But the future generation that might be coming will only remember United as the top four contender until they improve. And if United don't improve, they are on a big threat. And I'm not mincing my words. They're in a big threat to become the next Nottingham Forest. Not relegated, but they will stay in the top six, top seven in the Premier League. I think they need to up their sleeves. I think United do need to improve as a club, or I think they're in a big, big trouble, in my opinion. And now going on to other topics as well today, because we have a lot of things to cover about. And now going on to the Chelsea result, and Chelsea played at Goodison Park. And surprise, 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 Chelsea finally won at Goodison Park. We had lost the last four games at Goodison Park, and the last victory Chelsea got at Goodison Park, people, was 5 years back, 2017, when I was a teenager. Hiren Bhai was a teenager, and we were young boys, and Chelsea won. And whenever Chelsea win at Goodison Park, Chelsea go on to lift the Premier League title. So whenever Chelsea win at Goodison Park, Chelsea go on to lift the Premier League title. And let's see if this is that good year. But other than that, it's a good victory for Chelsea. We won at Goodison Park. It was a Jorginho penalty which got Chelsea the victory. Where Chilwell was fouled, he was brought down. A good penalty by Jorginho where he did not hit pen scope, and Chelsea got a much needed victory. And for me, Chelsea got a much needed reprieve after the problems we have been facing. So going on to towards today's panelists in Hiren Bhai. So Hiren Bhai did a live watch along for the Chelsea match, and please people who are watching in the chat, please go to Hiren Bhai's channel, Curious Harry. Please go and subscribe to his channel. Please support and do also like this content so more people can come here and we can have a good football chat today. And just taking one more question, evening Shrey Bhai, welcome to chat Akrit Bhai, and hope Akrit Bhai you're great and well. And going to Hiren Bhai here, Hiren Bhai, Chelsea have won against Everton and you watched the match, and even we were in the live watch along as well. So Hiren Bhai, do tell me what you made of the Chelsea performance, and overall where did Chelsea lack in this game, and was it same old Chelsea that we saw last year?
आई थिंक बोथ ऑफ अ बिट। मेरे हिसाब से तो हार्ड एंड विन था, मतलब ग्राइंड अप करके विन मिला है, इजी विन नहीं था, क्योंकि एवर्टन भी अच्छा खेल रही थी और डिफेंसिव वाइज भी एवर्टन ने अच्छा से मेंटेन किया था। तो मतलब चेल्सी के लिए थोड़ा सा अटैकिंग चांसेस भी उतने ज़्यादा नहीं बना पाई। लेकिन वन थिंग आई नोटिस्ड इज दैट कि चेल्सी गॉट plenty of corners, set pieces, but still they can't manage to hit one or two header, मतलब प्रॉपर चांस जो मिले। तो आई थिंक वहाँ पे चेल्सी को एक थोड़ा सा लेक लगा मुझे। और आई थिंक डिफेंसिव वाइज भी मतलब वो तो इतने तीनों ही एक्सपीरियंस सेंटर बैक है इसलिए बच गई, वरना तो मतलब वहाँ पे गोल खा जाते हैं, क्योंकि तीनों की पोजीशनिंग और सिल्वा का जो एक दो मतलब वन ऑन वन में जो उसने सेव किया है वो बेहतरीन था। इसलिए बाकी चेल्सी का मुझे अभी भी थोड़ा सा रिदम भी थोड़ा सा कम लग रहा है, जो जिस तरह से वो चाहते हैं। और चिलवेल भी अभी आ रहा है और कुकरेला भी आया है, तो आई थिंक मेरे हिसाब से इम्प्रूव तो हो जाएंगी। अभी एक दो वीक का एक दो मैच डे का टाइम देना चाहिए। बाद में जब ये विंडो भी अगर अच्छे नोट में ख़त्म करते हैं और एक दो अच्छे प्लेयर लाते हैं जैसे फ्रैंकी डियोंग, फोफाना जिसकी बातें चल रही है, और एक अगर अटैकिंग प्लेयर मेरे हिसाब से मुझे ज़रूरत लग रही है, क्योंकि अगर अगर टिमो वर्नर भी जा रहा है और मोस्ट प्रोबेबली जीएच भी जाएगा, तो आई थिंक अटैकिंग में थोड़ी सी मुझे वो कम दिख रही है। डिफेंसिव वाइज भी अभी तो वो तो शेप में आ जाएंगी, क्योंकि साइनिंग भी कर ली है वहाँ पे, मिडफील्ड में सॉर्ट आउट लग रही है। बट आई एम मोर कंसर्न ऑफ अटैकिंग, क्योंकि जो मेसन माउंट और काई हाइवर्ट्स है उसका मतलब वन जो बुरा गेम बोलते हैं वो हुआ है, वन ऑफ द बुरा। तो आई थिंक वहाँ पे ज्यादा कंसर्न है मेरे हिसाब से। तो
Agreed, Hiren Bhai, and I think Hiren Bhai, you are absolutely spot on. And Football Creeks here saying that Chelsea lack finishing, they need a striker, and everything is fine. And I do agree with Football Creeks sir that he's absolutely correct here. That Chelsea do lack finishing and they need a striker. The problem is we signed a striker last year who had no first touch, who had no proper control of the ball, and I think that is why the reputation of strikers at Chelsea has been destroyed. But I think we do need a striker, Football Creeks sir, but we need a striker who can play as a false nine, who can hold the ball well, who can be good in front of goal as well, and a player who can make the movements in behind. I think that is the type of striker Chelsea need. But it's just not about striker. Chelsea do need creativity as well. What's the benefit of having a striker when you can't even find the passes? You saw the goal Football Creek sir that your Haaland scored in the second one, where Kevin De Bruyne made that pass. How many Chelsea players are making that pass? I don't think Mason Mount is making that pass. I don't think Kaya Havertz is making that pass. I don't think Jorginho is even making that pass. I just think even Kovacic might make that pass. Only Reece James, Ben Chilwell, and you can say Kovacic and Jorginho are the players who can make that pass. And no one of them is a Kevin De Bruyne or a Bernardo Silva. You saw the goal Haaland scored. Even last year, how bad that guy was, Lakaka. Even he sometimes reached the right positions and he was not found. And I think that's a massive, massive concern in my opinion, and a concern that I think we really need to address in this transfer window. Football Creeks have another question. Chelsea and next game is against Spurs, and that's the concern. I think we have to improve our finishing. For me, it's important to start the season well. I think by September 1st, Chelsea will have everything sorted. Transfer window will be over. And I think all the negativity of the club will go away. The problem is that until then, for the first time ever in August, we will have 5 games. By September 1, first time ever in the Premier League, teams will play 5 games. And Chelsea do need to make sure that we at least get 10 to 12 points in that. Otherwise, if we start badly, I think we could be in trouble. And this is why I think we need to continue our good start. And going on to another topic of this match as well, has Hiren Bhai said, in my opinion, I agree with Hiren Bhai. Chelsea, I think, in this match did not show any rhythm. The good thing was that the three signings, Cucurella, who came as a substitute, Koulibaly, Sterling, they looked an upgrade on what Chelsea has. And I think that was a very, very good news. And I think at least Chelsea did look balanced. And I think defensively, Thiago Silva, has Hiren Bhai said, was fabulous. But again, the team had no rhythm. And I think if not for the penalty, that game ends Everton nil, Chelsea nil. And Werner is gone. Yes, sir. Werner is gone. He's gone to Leipzig for around 20 million pounds. And Werner is going to Leipzig. I always remember him, a good professional guy, unlike the Lakaka. The only problem is his first touch and finishing, but not at the Premier League level. And now going to another Chelsea player today for the discussion, who I wanted to talk about, and a player who was signed by Chelsea for around 55 million plus 7 million add-ons, and that's Mark Cucurella. So Mark Cucurella came on in the second half and made his much awaited debut for Chelsea. Surprisingly, it's the first time you will see a player registered and then straight away played. And for me, Cucurella was absolutely fantastic. Some of the technical passes he made, some of the diagonal passes he made were out of this world and were fabulous. But Hiren Bhai, you saw the debut of Cucurella. What do you make of Cucurella's debut, and how do you think Cucurella played, Hiren Bhai?
I think it's a fantastic game and वेरी वेरी गुड गेम बाय कुकरेला। और मेरे हिसाब से तो काफ़ी अच्छी साइनिंग है, क्योंकि अब बेन चिलवेल को पूरा कंपटीशन मिलेगा उस पोजीशन में। अगर उसको भी अपना परफॉर्मेंस हाई अप करना पड़ेगा, क्योंकि उसको भी पता है कि नहीं तो स्टार्टिंग 11 में मेरी जगह नहीं बनेगी अगर कुकरेला अच्छा मतलब खेलेगा। तो मेरे मेरे हिसाब से तो काफ़ी अच्छा खेला है, और पहले ही गेम में और पहले ही दिन मतलब ट्रेनिंग सेशन भी एक ही किया है। तो आपका जो लिंकअप और दूसरे प्लेयरों के साथ बन रहा था, और जो पासिंग आपकी एबिलिटी है वो तो मतलब तो बेहतरीन क्रॉसेस जो कुकुरेला के होते हैं वो मतलब बेहतरीन प्रिसीजन उसके पास ज़्यादा बढ़िया है। तो आई थिंक ओवरऑल देखें तो मतलब अ गुड स्टार्ट फॉर कुकुरेला इन चेल्सी शर्ट्स, एंड आई थिंक इट्स अ ग्रेट साइनिंग and will do wonder for Chelsea.
I think absolutely agreed, Hiren Bhai, and I think you put it very, very well. And for me, again, I will say Cucurella for me played a very, very good game. Some of the diagonal passes, technical passes he made were absolutely out of this world. He was just fabulous in this game. And I think it's a fantastic signing by Chelsea. I think City missed on this one. I think as much as he was costing the money, I do think City would have loved his technical ability. And I think it would have solved one of the biggest problems in City team, and that's the left problem. Now going on to some Premier League game week results one, and I will come back to Chelsea topics later in the video. And going on some topics here, and first of all, bringing you the results of the Premier League this game week. And coming to the results, just a patient, guys. We saw on First game, Crystal Palace losing to Arsenal 2-0. We saw Everton lose to Chelsea 0-1. We saw Tottenham winning their game 4-1. We also saw Newcastle beat Nottingham Forest. We saw Leeds beating Wolves. Bournemouth beating Villa on their debut on the Premier League. Fulham putting a fantastic display. West Ham losing to Manchester City at home with Haaland beauty. Manchester United losing at home and Leicester at home drawing to Brentford. So going on the first topic of the Premier League game results, I just want to talk a bit about Haaland and how good he was. So coming on to first of all, Hiren Bhai, what do you make of Haaland? How did he play? And overall, what impact he's going to have in the Premier League?
I think it's gonna be massive impact on Premier League. I think it's scary for other competitor to have Haaland in a City and De Bruyne link up, and I think it's beast mode. I think absolutely fantastic game by Erling Haaland. जो लोग उसका लास्ट वीक पे जो मिस का जो लोग मीम्स बना रहे थे उसके लिए परफेक्ट आंसर था कि व्हाट ही कैन ब्रिंग्स टू द दिस टीम and what he can be capable of doing in Premier League. I think it's gonna be a golden boot race, very very competitive from this season. I think he looks मतलब उसने जो पेनल्टी भी जीती, पेनल्टी जो स्कोर की और जो डिब्रोइना के असिस्ट पे जो थ्रू बॉल पे जो गोल मारा, मतलब तीनों ही जगह पे मतलब जो प्रॉपर नंबर 9 जो एक हम एक्सपेक्ट करते हैं नंबर 9 से, वो मतलब उसने किया है। और अगर सब्स्टिट्यूट नहीं होता तो मतलब हैट्रिक की भी उससे काफ़ी ज़्यादा उम्मीद थी। तो आई थिंक ओवरऑल देखें तो कंप्लीट डेब्यू फॉर स्ट्राइकर इन अ प्रीमियर लीग विथ अ ब्रेस। तो आई थिंक आई एम वेरी हैप्पी फॉर हिम।
Hiren Bhai, absolutely well said, Hiren Bhai. And for me, Haaland का यही था, जैसे मैंने कहा था, Haaland was going to be a fantastic player for the Premier League. I think people will comparing him Lukaku. It was never going to make sense. He's more quicker, he's more professional than Lukaku. And Football Creek sir makes a very very good point here that he will improve match by match, and that's the most scary thing. He has been taking tips of Alan Shearer as well, and if he plays the way he has been doing, he's going to break the record of Alan Shearer. And I think Alan Shearer will be one of the proudest men to see Erling Haaland break his record. It was also a proud moment to see Erling Haaland and his family at the ground and enjoying them. He was a City supporter, and it's a big, big day for the City fans. I think he was just fantastic, and I think he's going to be loved by the City fans. For me, the biggest thing, Football Creek said, you'll agree with me, was the interview. I'm not going to say that word here, but that interview by Haaland afterwards, OS, and that was just fantastic. I'm not going to say that or the challenge will be suspended, so I don't want to take the risk. Plus, KDB was shouting, scolding him as well, teaching him as well. That sign brotherly bond. I think Kevin De Bruyne makes good bond with everyone, to be honest. I think I cannot remember his fight with David Silva. That was a fantastic fight for Football Creek, sir. But overall, I think Haaland is one of the most luckiest striker in the world. He has played with Kevin De Bruyne. I think Kevin De Bruyne, even in Belgium, makes Romelu Lukaku look like a decent striker. And Haaland is one of the best strikers in the world. Just think what they are going to cook. Because I don't want to see as a Chelsea fan what are they going to cook. Neither I'm going to take a taste of it. So for me, at the moment, Haaland has been fantastic. For me, to give my opinion on the Haaland one, I think the biggest thing that I was scared hearing by, and I think Football Creek sir will agree with me, was the way he took both the chances. First one was a proper striker finish where he made the run. He got past the keeper and got a penalty. And the second one was such a calm and cool finish, and that's the biggest thing City lacked. City lacked a striker because last year City were knocked out by Real Madrid. They were also knocked out in the FA Cup as well by Liverpool. And the biggest problem City had that season was finishing. I think City were Jack Grealish was not finishing the chances. I think Kevin De Bruyne had to carry all the burden on his shoulder, and Haaland being at the right position at the right time, placing being there, finishing being there, and him being the output. Now Kevin De Bruyne can do anything he wants, create the chances, and there's a finisher. I think people need to be very concerned about Manchester City because for me right now, I'm shivering down yesterday, and I was expecting West Ham to do something good, but I'm being very very honest. आई थिंक एवरी स्ट्रीम लुकाकू रैंट इज कंपल्सरी एब्सोल्युटली मैं जब भी हालैंड को अच्छा खेलते हुए देखूंगा फुटबॉल क्रिक सर आई विल हैव अ रैंट एंड द बिगेस्ट प्रॉब्लम दैट आई हैड विद लुकाकू फुटबॉल क्रिक सर is that professionalism. And now I see Haaland playing well. I'm going to be more jealous, Football Creek, sir. So bear with me here. And now going on to the next topic of the Premier League deals. And I think the next part is going to talk about Darwin Núñez and the goal for Liverpool. So Liverpool in the Premier League game week had a match against Fulham of all people. Many people were saying Fulham nil, Liverpool 5, Fulham nil, Liverpool 6, Fulham nil, Liverpool 4, Fulham 1, Liverpool 3, Fulham 1, Liverpool 4. And I was an idiot to predict Fulham 1, Liverpool 3. Just snap here and Fulham 1, Liverpool 3. And I was predicting that. But there were more people who were predicting 5 0, 6 0, 7 0. And I have some sympathy for them. And Fulham were magnificent. They did not even allow Liverpool have a proper possession. They were dominant with the ball. I think Fulham were very, very good to watch, and they were very unlucky to come out with a draw. They should have won the game, and it was Nunes who saved Liverpool. In my observation, Nunes was just like what Liverpool needed a striker. They are in the right position. Nunes, for me, could have scored a hat trick in this game or even 4 goals, but his first touch reminded me of Lukaku. That was a horrific first touch. But at the moment, his finishing was right. He was in the right position, and Mohamed Salah, and he was creating a good pair there. So now coming on to Hiren Bhai. Hiren Bhai, you watched a full match. Fulham drew with Liverpool 2-2. Darwin Nunes came in and changed the game. So Hiren Bhai, what's your opinion on Nunes, and what do you think the impact he's going to have for the Liverpool team this season?
It's going to be a massive impact on Liverpool side, because it's a really good striker and a proper number 9 who can deliver on a big stage like a Premier League, and a very very good player. आई थिंक जिस तरह से वो खेला है वो भी मतलब अच्छा था, और आई थिंक ये फेमिनियो के लिए काफी एक वो होगा बुरी बात कि इवेंचुअली नूनेज विल स्टार्ट फ्रॉम इन 2 to 3 मैच. आई थिंक मोस्ट प्रोबेबली 2 से 3 मैच बाद नूनेज ही स्टार्टिंग 11 से चालू करेगा. और आई थिंक ये मतलब काफी अच्छा मतलब साला का सॉरी माने का जो रिप्लेसमेंट है वो मतलब बेहतरीन मिला है लिवरपूल को. गोल मतलब देगा गोल, ऐसा नहीं है कि गोल लुकाकू की तरह गोल नहीं देगा, तो गोल तो मिलेंगे लिवरपूल को, और अच्छे गोल मिलेंगे. मतलब हेडर भी उसका उसका अच्छा है, मतलब और उसका रन भी अच्छा है. तो आई थिंक इट्स गोना बी अ ग्रेट प्रीमियर लीग फर्स्ट सीजन. लेकिन ज्यादा हमें एक्सपेक्टेशन मतलब जो जितनी हाई करके फैंस रहते हैं कि एवरी मैच में हैट्रिक मार देगा, ब्रेस मार देगा, उस तरह की नहीं रखनी चाहिए, क्योंकि उसका अभी पहला ही सीजन है प्रीमियर लीग में, तो थोड़ा सेटल होना पड़ेगा. और बाद में देखते हैं कि किस तरह से खेलता है. तो आई थिंक इट्स अ ग्रेट साइनिंग.
एंड एक फुटबॉल क्रिक से मैं आपसे बिल्कुल एग्री करता हूँ, बट प्रॉब्लम ये है, मैं एक बात जरूर एग्री करूंगा. आई विल से वन थिंग. Lukaku would have scored a lot of goals for Liverpool. He would have scored a lot of goals for Liverpool. He scored 8 for Chelsea. He would have scored 24 for Liverpool. I think the thing with Liverpool is Liverpool don't need a lot of technical footballers. They have Trent, they have Robertson, they have Salah, they have Diaz, they have a technical midfield in Thiago, Fabinho. They just need someone who can clean up the mess and score the goals they required. And Darwin Nunes is going to party up there. The chances he's going to get there, I think, is going to be enjoyable, and he's absolutely going to party at Liverpool. For me, Liverpool were lucky to come out with a draw. And last year, Liverpool dropped a 2-point lead against Chelsea. They drew 2-2 versus Brighton after being 2-0 up. They drew versus Brentford, and those matches cost them the title. This year, they've already had a match where I think it could be a one that can cost them the title. And I think it could be a massive drop points where the season goes ahead. Now, coming on to more topics for today, and now going on to the North London teams who won their respective games. And everybody knows what North London teams are. It's Arsenal and it's Tottenham. And Arsenal won their game 2-0 against Crystal Palace, goals via Martinelli and Saka, while Tottenham Hotspur destroyed the heck out of Southampton 4-1, even after not any of their new signing playing, except the substitutions. And Tottenham were just fantastic. Arsenal won at a place which is a bogey ground for them. So before my opinion, I'll go to Hiren Bhai. And Hiren Bhai, you saw both the matches of Tottenham, you saw both the matches of Arsenal, both the matches of both teams. What did you make of Tottenham and Arsenal, and how do you think they're ready for the top four battle this season?
I think it's gonna be a great competition in top four, because Arsenal is looking a very fantastic team, and also very gelled up team. एंड प्री सीजन के जैसा परफॉर्मेंस पहले मैच में भी देखने को मिला, मतलब काफ़ी अच्छे चांसेस भी क्रिएट किए, डिफेंसिव वाइज भी सॉलिड लगी, और 2 चांसेस को कन्वर्ट भी किया. तो आई थिंक इट्स अ ग्रेट स्टार्ट फॉर आर्सेनल. एंड आई थिंक जो स्पर्स का गेम है, मतलब उसने भी मेरे को काफ़ी इंप्रेस किया है. मतलब स्पर्स के जो कुलवेस की सन की जो लिंकअप और जो उसकी पार्टनरशिप बन रही है, और अगर हैरी केन भी उसमें साथ में फॉर्म में आ जाए अब, तो मतलब जो तीनों की पार्टनरशिप है जो अटैकिंग ट्रायो की, वो मतलब काफ़ी प्रीमियर लीग में लीथल साबित हो सकती है. तो आई थिंक इट्स गोना बी अ ग्रेट टू वॉच वेरी हार्ड एंड टफ फॉर this season, because Spurs and Arsenal are looking very 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 competitive teams. I think they either of one of them are definitely going to be finished in top four, for my opinion.
I think agreed, and I think one of them is definitely in the top four this season with the way United are playing. And I think, in my opinion, what I saw of the game, I saw the full Arsenal game. For me, Arsenal were magnificent in the first 30 minutes. That's one of the best Arsenal performances I've seen in my time. They were relentless. They did not allow Crystal Palace any possession. They were very, very good to watch, even as a rival. I have to admire that they were fantastic to watch. They were passing the ball. They were being dominant. William Saliba being very dominant on ball. I have to also say that Ben White was very good at a position at the right back. I think their midfield was good. I think Odegaard was fantastic again, creating chance after chance. Martinelli was at the right position. Saka doing his thing, and they were recycling the ball so well. Whenever Palace got out of the box, they were pressurized, and the ball was back with Arsenal. There was a 30-minute spell where Arsenal could have ripped Palace apart and got a 4 or 5 or 6 nil lead. Gabriel Jesus was out of this world. His dribbling was fantastic. The way he was dribbling with the ball was just beautiful. The chance he created for Martinelli, which Martinelli missed by his left foot, one of the worst misses of the season, I think was Gabriel Jesus at his best. Just beautiful to watch. While I think Tottenham Hotspur showed everyone a statement, I think they played the same squad that they had last year. It was Kulusevski, Son, Kane, Richarlison was not there, and from the bench they had Perisic and Bissouma. They played Sessegnon, they played Emerson Royal, they played the same team as last year, and they got 1 nil behind. Everybody thought that Tottenham were going to drop points. They did not even score one goal, they scored four goals. And remember, they still have players like Richarlison to come up there. They still have players like Perisic, Bissouma, Lenglet even for a backup. I think this is a very, very scary team of Tottenham. And I think both the teams got a good victory. I think both the teams show that they're more improved than last year. Tottenham have a better bench than last year, so their weakness is gone. Arsenal have a better all-round team here, and they are more accustomed to their passing football. So for me, it was fantastic the way both teams played, and I think this sent a statement to every team they're competing against. So I think that was about Arsenal and Tottenham. Now going on to some transfer news for today, everyone, and we discussed about United as well, and going on to some other results of the Premier League as well. Just going on the screen, and I'm just going to talk about a bit of teams here. I think overall the matches I saw, I do want us to talk about Everton, and just asking a quick prediction here from Hiren Bhai before we go to the transfer news. Hiren Bhai, do you see Everton surviving this season in the Premier League the way they played? They're also
I
being
think
linked with Connor Cody as well of Wolves.
आई थिंक दे गोना सर्वाइव। जो मैंने पहले मैच से मतलब मैं बोल रहा हूँ परफॉर्मेंस, अभी तो मतलब 2-3 गेम वीक में पता चलेगा, लेकिन दे लुक सॉलिड इन डिफेंस आई थिंक। So if they maintain that solidness in defense, then they are definitely gonna survive. Because if you can't win a match, then it's better to withdraw.
I think I agreed, and Everton were very, very solid for me. I think the problem is they're not going to get any good finish this season. They're not going to be top 10, top 12 in the league. But I think they have the solidity, the experience in the team to at least survive from relegation. I think the other team I also wanted to talk about was Fulham. I think Fulham were very, very impressive. I think Mitrovic showed why he scored so many goals in the championship. And I think Mitrovic was just out of this world. He was just fantastic for me. So I think Mitrovic deserves big, big credit for the way he played in this game. For me, along with Mitrovic, I can say Newcastle got a much needed victory. I think Bournemouth gave a good statement, and Steven Gerrard has some pressure on his head. The money that Steven Gerrard has spent at Aston Villa, and if he cannot get them to top 9, top 8 this season, I think it's an absolute embarrassment. I think West Ham got handed a reality check. They still have a lot of problems. Skamaka is still a young guy, and he straight away isn't going to have a big impact for them. So I think that was about the Premier League game week 1. Now going on to some Chelsea news for today, and going by some Chelsea news today, and coming on to Chelsea news. The first big news is about Chelsea today that's come is around Fofana. So showing you the news here. So this is the Fofana news. Chelsea are still trying to sign Fofana and maybe prepared to go to 80 million plus. The feeling that if the bidding reaches that level, Leicester will sell. So coming on to you, Hiren, by here, do you see he's worth around 85 million? And do you think Chelsea should pay that?
It's not about the worth, but I think it's a need for a Chelsea right now, because we can see in the first game that there is some problem with Silva's इंजरी। मतलब लेटर हाफ ऑफ द गेम में वो थोड़ा सा मतलब वो थोड़ा सा उसके जो बैक मसल है उसमें थोड़ा सा इश्यू लग रहा था। तो आई थिंक इट्स एब्सोल्युटली नेसेसिटी फॉर अ चेल्सी टू साइन अ सेंटर बैक राइट नाउ। एंड सो आई थिंक प्राइस डजंट मैटर दैट। एंड हम फैंस को तो कहाँ पे पे करना है, वो तो ओनर को पे करना है। हमें तो प्लेयर से मतलब है ना, प्लेयर आना चाहिए, पैसे तो उसके ओनर के जा रहे हैं ना। तो आई थिंक मैंने ये काफी देखा है कि हम फैंस ऐसा बोलते हैं कि ये ओवर पे कर दिया है, वो कर दिया, लेकिन उससे हमें क्या मतलब है यार। हमें तो प्लेयर से और उसकी क्वालिटी से मतलब ज्यादा वो होना चाहिए। प्राइस तो अगर इस मतलब अभी फुटबॉल वर्ल्ड की जो ट्रांसफर मार्केट की देखे, तो जब से वो नेमार का हुआ है लफड़ा, तब से ये प्राइस तो इट्स गोना बी। अब अगर मीडियम प्लेयर है, एवरेज प्लेयर, तो भी उसका आपको 15 to 20 मिलियन एक्स्ट्रा देना ही पड़ेगा। तो अगर इस अभी तो जो गुड क्वालिटी के प्लेयर है जिसमें पोटेंशियल है, तो उसमें उस प्लेयर के तो आपको 80 to 100 million आपको मतलब काउंट करके ही चलना है कि उसका तो इतना ही होगा ही होगा। और इसने अभी कॉन्ट्रैक्ट भी साइन कर लिया है, इसलिए ज़्यादा प्राइस है। अगर इसने कॉन्ट्रैक्ट साइन नहीं किया होता तो काम बात कम में पच जाती, लेकिन इसने लेस्टर के साथ कॉन्ट्रैक्ट भी अपना अभी एक्सटेंड किया है, तो इसीलिए थोड़ी सी प्राइस ज़्यादा है। और चेल्सी का नीड है, और लेस्टर को भी पता है कि चेल्सी देने के लिए तैयार है, इसलिए मतलब और प्राइस तो मैं नहीं बोलूँगा, लेकिन जस्टिफाइबल प्राइस है, और चेल्सी की नीड को भी वो कवर कर सकता है।
I think absolutely agreed, Hiren Bhai. And the problem is, Hiren Bhai, that people are not understanding. For me, 80 million is a big price. I will never deny that. 80 million is a massive price, and the pressure that comes with it is massive. But Richarlison was never worth 60 million. He was never worth 60 million for the market today. I think even Frankie de Jong has good as he's not as 80 million midfielder. Let's be brutally honest. He's a good midfielder, 50, 60, but not 80, 85 million midfielder. I think the money market today is very, very strange. And even buying a Premier League player, people have to remember that the Premier League deals are big. The Premier League deals, the Premier League club who finishes 20th earns more money than the Serie A champions. So you have to
चैंपियंस।
be honest. A team that finishes last in the Premier League earns more than the Serie A champions. So why are they bound to be bullied by these big clubs? I think the Premier League clubs are not bullied by anyone in the team. And if you want their player, you have to pay big. Ben White 50 million. Brighton have earned 50 million from Ben White, 25 million from Bissouma, and they've also earned 60 million around from Cucurella. They've already earned around 135 million from these three players, which they signed for absolute peanuts. I think Fofana is a Leicester player who has big contract on his hand, established player, Premier League proven. I think you were never going to get him for less than 80, 85 million. And I think in today's market, if you think this player suits the manager's style, if you're very, very sure that this is the biggest stock you're buying, if Fofana is the player that Todd Bowley and Thomas Tuchel think is the Chelsea future, then pay for it. Then pay for it. If you think he's the Chelsea's Van Dijk, if he's Chelsea's biggest player, pay for it. But if you don't think so, then don't panic buy. For me, the biggest problem with Chelsea is the panic buying. For me, if he's Thomas Tuchel target, if Todd Bowley thinks that Fofana is going to be the next big part of Chelsea defense future, pay damn money for it. I don't give a damn. Whether you pay 80, whether you pay 90, whether you pay 100, whether you pay 150, whether you pay it in installments. But if you don't think Fofana is a big part of that, if Tuchel doesn't want him, then for me, don't sign him. There's no need to panic buy. So for me, I'm not concerned about the price. He's a very good player, a proven Premier League player. It's just about does Thomas Tuchel want him or not. And now going on to the next bit of Chelsea transfer news today that we have got. And the second transfer news today is around Wilfred Zaha. So Wilfred Zaha has been linked with Chelsea here, and David Krug has said that Chelsea are being encouraged to make a move for Wilfred Zaha. Sources close to the Ivorian International said he would be keen to make a switch to Chelsea by Alex Crooks from Talksport. So Hiren Bhai, I think, has to leave now in 1 or 2 minutes. He has to go. So taking Hiren Bhai's final opinion on Wilfred Zaha, what do you think about Wilfred Zaha, Hiren Bhai, and what do you make of the player overall?
आई थिंक इट्स गोना एड अ डिफरेंट डायमेंशन टू द चेल्सीज अटैकिंग ट्रायो। मतलब थोड़ा सा फिजिकल भी है, जो मतलब बाकी जो माउंट एवर्ट्स और स्टर्लिंग है उससे। और आई थिंक फिजिकलिटी और उसका जो पोजीशनिंग है वो भी काफ़ी मतलब तीनों जो अटैकिंग प्लेयर है उससे काफ़ी डिफरेंट है। तो आई थिंक एक अलग डायमेंशन आएगा, वैरायटी आएगी अटैक अटैक में, जो अभी चेल्सी जो लैक कर रही है मोस्ट, कि वो जो तीनों मतलब तीनों जो अटैकिंग प्लेयर है उसमें से। तो आई थिंक एक अलग डायमेंशन मिलने से मतलब जो एक जैसे सेट पीस में गोल नहीं मिल रहा है, तो अगर आपके पास ऐसा नंबर 9 हो जो मतलब सेट पीस में भी अच्छा हो, तो आपको वहाँ पे भी हेल्प कर सकती है। किसी गेम में आपको रिजल्ट ग्राइंड करना हो तो आपको दिलवा सकता है। तो मेरे हिसाब से तो अटैकिंग अटैकर की मतलब स्ट्राइकर की तो नीड है ही चेल्सी को। तो आई थिंक इट्स गुड ऑप्शन जहाँ मतलब प्रीमियर लीग प्रूवन भी है, तो मतलब प्रीमियर लीग में खेलने का एक्सपीरियंस भी है। तो मेरे हिसाब से वो ज़्यादा बेहतर रहेगा अभी शॉर्ट टर्म फिक्स के लिए, कि कोई दूसरी लीग से स्ट्राइकर लाने के बजाय जो प्रीमियर लीग में अच्छा कर रहा है उसी को चांस दें, ताकि जो आपका शॉर्ट टर्म टारगेट हो वो आप अचीव कर पाए। और आप अगर लॉन्ग टर्म में देख रही है तो फिर तो आपको कोई जो अभी तो लॉन्ग टर्म के लिए तो अभी कोई मार्केट में ऐसा स्ट्राइकर भी नहीं है जो मतलब एक पोटेंशियल बड़ा प्लेयर बन सकता है। तो नेक्स्ट सीजन नेक्स्ट समर ट्रांसफर में आपको वो उस पे उसके ऊपर जा सकते हैं। तो ये इस सीजन के लिए मेरे हिसाब से तो जहाँ सही रहेगा, मतलब जो प्रीमियर लीग के जो प्रूवन स्ट्राइकर है वो और वो है।
I think absolutely agreed, Hiren Bhai. And taking a chat here. As a fan, our biggest weakness is fear. That's why team afford to lose races. That's why they don't do anything. Kali dekh lo, West Ham को which eventually creates fear in weaker teams. I think West Ham, I think absolutely correct by Football Creek, sir, that there's a fear around Manchester City. I think West Ham did not even try to attack Manchester City. I will say did not even make Manchester City sweat a lot. At the
Sure.
moment, I'm sweating here in the stream, but they did not even make Manchester City sweat. That's how bad West Ham were. But I think that's a respect that every team has for Manchester City. Because if you don't show that respect to Manchester City, you're beaten 8-0, 9-0, 10-0, 11-0, and it's very possible. I think the way Manchester City are going, they're going to smash some team one day 10-0. And you can mark this, City will smash one day one team 10 or 9-0. So here I will continue the video, but Hiren Bhai has to go. He had to leave around 8. So people, please, I'll request to you, please, first of all, do like the video. Do subscribe, people who are watching here. Please support the channel. And also, people, go to Curious Harry, Curious Harry. I've tagged his link in the below as well. Do go to the link. Subscribe to Harry Bhai as well, Hiren Bhai. Subscribe to his channel and help him to grow. On final buzz, Hiren Bhai, what do you make of the today's video and overall your final thoughts?
आई थिंक काफी अच्छा डिस्कशन रहा और ओवरऑल प्रीमियर लीग भी अच्छा, मतलब गेम वीक 1 में जो काफ़ी अच्छी टीमें, रिजल्ट भी थोड़े से सरप्राइजिंग से आए हैं। तो बातें आपसे तो मतलब बात करना हमेशा अच्छा ही रहता है और आपके जो ऑडियंस है उससे भी। और प्लीज़ गाइस श्रेय भाई को भी सपोर्ट कीजिए, काफ़ी अच्छी मेहनत करते हैं। और मेरे चैनल को भी सब्सक्राइब कीजिए और श्रेय भाई को कीजिए। आपका मतलब सब्सक्राइब से हमें तो मतलब जो एक एनर्जी और मोटिवेशन की तरह हम उसे लेते हैं कि क्या हमें आगे इम्प्रूव करना है, क्या हमें आपको और ज़्यादा मतलब आपको भी गेम में इंटरेस्ट बढ़े, आपको भी फन आए। तो मतलब आपके एक सब्सक्राइब करने से काफ़ी सारी चीज़ें जो मैटर करती है, आपको तो मतलब एक सब्सक्राइब ही करना है, लेकिन हमें हमारी लाइफ में और हमारे जो कंटेंट में वो काफ़ी बड़ा डिफरेंस ला सकता है। तो प्लीज़ गाइस सब्सक्राइब कर दीजिए और आपको ऐसे ही अच्छा डिस्कशन लाते रहेंगे। और श्रेय भाई को चैनल को भी सब्सक्राइब कीजिए, मेरे चैनल को भी कीजिए, क्यूरियस हैरी को। और थैंक यू श्रेय भाई फॉर इनवाइटिंग मी। थैंक यू गाइस, टेक केयर।
Thank you, Hiren Bhai. An absolute pleasure to have you, Hiren Bhai. So the discussion continues, and right now we were talking about Wilfred Zaha and how good Wilfred Zaha is. So people going to bring to you a bit of the photo of the Wilfred Zaha one. So you can see here that Chelsea are being encouraged to make a move for Wilfred Zaha because sources close to Ivorian International says that he will be keen to make a switch to Chelsea. Now, in my opinion, people, Wilfred Zaha has been wanting to move for a very, very long time. He wanted to move to Arsenal, Crystal Palace, rejected a move. He put a transfer request as well, but they again rejected it. Wilfred Zaha knows that this is the final age for him of getting a very, very big move. After this, he's not going to get any big move in his life, and it's a big, big part for Wilfred Zaha to make that move. For me now, my opinion on Wilfred Zaha, oh, I think I will want him at Chelsea. I think you can berate me, you can hate me, but I will love Wilfred Zaha at Chelsea. I think he's a very, very good striker. He's a Premier League proven player. That's the number one factor. I think he's good physically as well and can handle the Premier League defender. That's number two. I think his dribbling is fantastic. I think he's going to be a great attacker for Chelsea. He can link up the play, which is much better than what Romelu Lukaku used to bring to us. He's a very good finisher of the ball. He can also be an absolute leader because he has been an absolute leader for the Crystal Palace team. His finishing is fantastic. His playing with the ball is fantastic. His pace is fantastic. His dribbling is fantastic. And everybody remembers Eden Hazard. When Eden Hazard used to play in the Premier League, he used to be one of the most foul players in the league. But you know who was close with him? It was Wilfred Zaha. It was Wilfred Zaha and Eden Hazard who used to be fouled the most. Wilfred Zaha is a very talented player. He can run with the ball well. He can hit the ball well. He can be in the right position. He can be a leader. He's Premier League proven as well. For me, there's no brainer that Chelsea should be making a move for him. I think if we do not make a move for Wilfred Zaha, I think it's an absolute disaster. And I think Chelsea do need to make a move for Wilfred Zaha. He's a fantastic striker. We'll get him for 20-25 million. He's a much better option than Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. He's a much better option than Memphis Depay. He's even a much better striking option than Kai Havertz. And I think it will be much better that Kai plays on the wing and Wilfred Zaha is a Chelsea striker. For me, if this happens, I think it's a fantastic, fantastic deal for Chelsea. There are also rumors about Timo Werner leaving Chelsea here. I don't have any photo of this, so I'm just going to give my opinion here. And it's rumored that Timo Werner is leaving Chelsea, and Timo Werner will be going to RB Leipzig for around 10 to 20 million around 20 million around the deal is been plus bonuses. For me, Werner is a player who is always deceived to impress. His professionalism has been fantastic. He has been a player who fought for the shirt, who played on the pitch, who played with desire, who played with passion, and he was a player who always played for the club. For me, I will never forget the interview when he came to Chelsea, that I've came to Chelsea to win the Champions League. And he leaves Chelsea with winning the Champions League. I think he was a player who always said that I'm sorry for Frank Lampard sacking. I'm sorry that I'm not able to finish the chances. I think you will not see a more nicer guy than Timo Werner. For me, I have no bad blood with Timo Werner. I admire Timo Werner. He was a very, very professional guy. The only problem is that he was not very technical. And players like Timo Werner thrive in Bundesliga. Players like Timo Werner thrive in Champions League matches like you saw against Real Madrid. Players like Timo Werner thrive in big games, but they cannot thrive in games where they don't have space to work in. They don't thrive in games where they have to do technical work like dribbling, like having the control of the ball. And the biggest problem with Timo Werner, his shooting was awful. His shooting was absolute awful, and he used to only score around 7 to 8 a season, which used to be a big problem. At Leipzig, he used to have a lot of space in Bundesliga to enjoy, and that used to help him to get 2 3 chances every game, and he used to score one. At Chelsea, he used to only get one chance and he used to miss that. And sadly, I think Timo Werner had to leave Chelsea, but he's still a player I'll always admire. Now going on to Frankie De Jong links for Chelsea. So Frankie De Jong, it's been very clear that Chelsea have a firm interest in him. I don't think anybody's lying in that. That Chelsea have a very very big interest in Frankie De Jong. Now Frankie De Jong also got a bit of criminal case from Barcelona. They are trying to say that the previous ownership made the deal with him, signed him a contract without seeing the club finances. So it's not their mistake, and they're trying to criminalize the Frankie De Jong deal and the deferred wages he's asking for. And right now, David Ornstein, who has been very reliable with his transfer news, has stated that Chelsea have a big interest in him and they're yet to submit a proper fee, but they are ready to pay a big fee if Frankie de Jong wants to come to Chelsea. Now, people have been saying, will Frankie de Jong go to United? Will Frankie de Jong go to Chelsea? Will Frankie de Jong come to Chelsea? Will Frankie de Jong want to play for Chelsea? I think Frankie de Jong, if he gets the chance, is going to choose Chelsea over United. He will get Champions League football here. He will play under a manager in Thomas Tuchel who admires him. I think he's going to play in a team which has a good chance of competing for the Premier League and even competing for the Champions League. And if Frankie de Jong has to choose between Chelsea and United, I think he is going to choose Chelsea. But it's only going to be about how much transfer fund Chelsea have got. Marcus Alonso is going to leave Chelsea for around 10 million. Timo Werner is going to leave Chelsea for around 20 million. So Chelsea have some money to spend on. And Chelsea will also try to make more sales. They will also try to sell Hakim Ziyech. They will also try to sell, even sadly, very sadly, Billy Gilmer. They will also try to sadly sell Ethan Ampadu. And these are the ways that Chelsea are trying to earn money. So if Chelsea are able to raise enough money and Chelsea put a good bid for Frankie de Jong, I think Barca will accept it because they are pressurized from La Liga now to register players and they have to raise some big transfer fee. And I think Frankie de Jong is going to choose Chelsea. But yes, if Chelsea don't pay the transfer fee and United, if they keep losing the matches, I think United board will be pressurized to pay big money for de Jong. And I can see de Jong ending up at Manchester United then. So now it was about de Jong discussion. Now going on to Fofana discussion, in my opinion, and how big of a player Fofana can be for Chelsea. I think Fofana is going to be an amazing player for Chelsea if he sign. He's a prem proven player. I think they're trying to say that Leicester at the moment are still rejecting our offers. For me, Leicester are holding out for 87 to 88 million pounds in my opinion. I think Leicester are trying to get Chelsea to pay 90 million. Now 90 million is an absurd money. It's an absolute absurd money for Wesley Fofana, and I can understand people being very skeptical about it. But I do want to say to people one thing. This is the way people market works. Richarlison was not worth the money that Tottenham paid for him. Cucurella is still not a 60 million player. Even Calvin Phillips is not a 50 million player. Declan Rice is not a 90 to 100 million player. But the Premier League clubs have big strong power, big finances, and they're not going to be troubled up. Now, my opinion of Fofana as a player, I think he was very good against Brentford in my opinion. He was very, very good. And overall, Wesley Fofana for me is a very strong player. He's Premier League proven. He's good with the ball. He's good with the interception. He's very rarely dribble past. He keeps the hold of the ball well. He's also an absolute leader. The FA Cup final performance he put against Chelsea was beyond imagination. He was just fantastic. He's just 21 years of age. So you can say he has good 7 to 8 years ahead of him. Now comes the cons. The price tag will put pressure on him. He's still just a 21-year-old guy. He also has some big, big injuries. And if he's not fit for Chelsea, that's another disaster on the hands by Chelsea. But right now, Fofana will be a fantastic signing for Chelsea. Yes, the price is a lot. Yes, the price is, I think, undeserved for the money you have to pay. But that's the way transfer market works today. And to sign the best players, you have to pay the big money. But for me, I have to say one thing. If Thomas Tuchel badly wants Fofana, if Todd Bowley thinks that Fofana is a future for the next big centre back in the world, for me, do not even hesitate to pay 90 million. And there's another sir here. Thank you so much, sir, for subscribing. It's an absolute pleasure, sir. So much thank you, sir, for subscribing. Please, people, do subscribe and support the channel. So Fofana is very, very amazing player for me. And I think Fofana is going to do an amazing, amazing job for Chelsea. I think we have to back Fofana more. We have to really back the signing. I think Thomas Tuchel is behind this signing. And for me, Fofana is a player I like a lot. Premier League proven he's a player. He's very young and he's going to develop. The only problem is the injuries. But I do want to say the one thing, that the clubs do a lot of research on this. Clubs are not idiots who will be making this move, and the club know where they're going to go with this. Also coming on for me to Cucurella's debut here and making my final words on this debut, I think Cucurella was just fantastic today. I think his debut was very, very good to see. I think some of the technical passes he made was beyond this world, and I think Cucurella was very, very good for me to watch. I think Cucurella for me, his passing was crisp. His passing, especially diagonal passes he made, was very, very good. I think it was 100 times. I love Marcus Alonso to absolute bits, but it was 100 times more technical than Marcus Alonso. His pace was good to see. His defensive awareness was there. And I think some of the technical passes Cucurella made was fantastic. So I think that was very, very good to see. Also, my final opinion on the way the Premier League is gone and giving my review on the Premier League Game Week 1. For me, Manchester United started very badly, and for me, fans need to have a bit more patience. I think Ten Hag is a very, very good manager, and Ten Hag for me is going to do wonders for a team like Manchester United. He's really going to do wonders, but he needs to be given time. He needs to be given space to develop his team, and I think fans need to be more calm with them. I think, on the other hand, for me, Manchester City have got an absolute gem on their hands in form of Erling Haaland, and I think City have completed the signing they needed. I think they created a lot of chances through Kevin De Bruyne. They created a lot of chances through Bernardo. They created a lot of chances through Grealish, and now finally they have got an end person to look forward to. And Haaland is going to cause a big, big problem for everyone. His left-footed finish, his pace, his professionalism, I think is beyond good, and I think he's going to do wonders for Manchester City. Going on to North London teams, and I think Kulusevski has been one of the signings of the Premier League in the last some years. Bukayo Saka is one of the most talented youngsters right now in the world, and both of them got their teams to victory. I think Arsenal got a good victory against Crystal Palace. Yes, it was not perfect, but they started the season with a clean sheet. They got the victory, and they got points at a place where they were beaten 3-0 last season. Tottenham, for me, did a very good job. Tottenham showed everyone what they're made up of, and at the moment, they're no new signing player. So just see how strong Tottenham will be once Perisic, Richarlison, you can say these players start getting into the lineup, how strong Tottenham is going to be. And then going on to Liverpool, and I think Liverpool still showed why they are the Premier League's closest competitor to City. It looked like they should be losing this game, but somehow, some way, Liverpool pulled a draw out of that. But also for me, Liverpool will be a bit concerned because this could be a costly point, which might just leave them again 1 or 2 points behind Manchester City. I think Darwin Nunes showed that why he's also criticized, but why he's also praised. Darwin Nunes is going to enjoy himself at Liverpool. He's going to get a load of chances to enjoy. He's going to get a load of chances to put in the net. But the only problem with Darwin Nunes is his technical touching. I think his first touch is bad. I think overall his technical ability is very, very bad. But the biggest thing is that the technical part of the Liverpool team is going to be taken over by Salah, Diaz, Thiago, Fabinho, Trent, Robertson, and he has to just do the finishing. And I think he's very, very good at that. Giving my final thoughts on Chelsea, and Chelsea win at Goodison. And I think it was a massive, massive win for Chelsea at Goodison Park, a ground where we lost our last 4 games in a row, 18-19 season, 19-20, 20-21, 21-22. And I think Chelsea did a fantastic job in terms of finishing the chances. And I think the finish by Chelsea was very, very good. And the way they finished the chances was good. I think overall our performance was bad in my opinion. I think Jorginho took a very, very good penalty. I think Hip and Scott was not there, which is good to see. I think he has changed his penalty techniques a bit, which is much good to see. I think we won at a place where we've lost a lot, so that's a big positive. I think we also kept a clean sheet, which is a big, big positive. And the biggest positive is we started the season with 3 points. Chelsea is not going to be perfect until the transfer window ends. But for the first time ever in August, Premier League is going to have 5 matches. And it's important for Chelsea to stay within near to the top. And once the signings are confirmed, we are not that much far behind. And slowly but surely, we can close the gap. But if we start the season badly, I think negativity could creep in. And the new signings could be under massive, massive pressure, which I don't want to see. I think going on, final part on this performance, for me, Sterling showed good glimpses. Havertz was again very, very disappointing. And Havertz is a player I'm getting frustrated with. But his first game of the season, so we have to give him time. I think Chilwell was fine, but he's not fully fit right now, so we have to understand. Did not look fit as well. I think Jorginho was good. Kante was good. Silva was beyond this world. I think we were shaky. I think we were not good. I think Chelsea were lucky to come out with the victory. But the good thing is we got the victory and we move on. Our next game is against Spurs, and I do think Chelsea do have to improve their performance, or else Spurs might be the team which might just show us a bit of lesson. So I think we do need to improve, and I do think we'll improve. So on that note, everyone, I do end the video for today. I will be making regular videos, everyone. So do subscribe to the channel, please. Do hit the bell notification button, and every video I'll make, you will get a notification about that. Please, people, do support me. Do subscribe to the content. Please support, and your support is the one which keeps me motivated. Thank you all. Please support the channel, guys, and please